Good morning, everyone. Happy Easter, happy Passover, happy, what they say in the Muslim world, Eid Mubarak. It's all these beautiful holidays, all the spring holidays. It's just a confluence of beauty and bounty and fertility and flamboyance today. So feel free to express yourself fully in whatever mode you're in, whatever cultural experience or expression, and whatever religion. We are here to share the love. So today I seek the wholeness in the moment of this breath. I am full and overflowing as I turn my attention toward beauty, love, and peace. I am one with all, and all is one with me. I am love. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Catherine. Now I'd like to bring up Ginger Coyle again.
I like to do some Om chants in between them to ground up. When you sing along, you just want to take a deep belly breath and hold out your Om for 4 counts. We'll do it twice in between. I'll start with that. Deep breath. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved and set me free. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Deep breath. Was grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Many dangers, toils, and snares we have already come. 'Twas grace hath brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. We've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Oh,
Thank you so much, Ginger. Thank you for that beautiful blessing for our service today. Just taking a moment to center into the creativity of our humanness, that we come from this beautiful place where we can take something that has already been created and add something and increase its beauty from our own beautiful place. So thank you, Ginger, for extending the beauty of that beautiful piece that many of us know and feel, and carries us right into our talk today. That would be the talk and message that has been roaring, I don't even know what word that is, roaring through me all week. It's been quite an amazing week. So when I last saw you, many of you, we were celebrating last Sunday, and we were kicking off Holy Week, and we realized that it was a rite of purification. And we were going to have this big celebration, Palm Sunday, and Passover was coming, and everybody, the historic facts of coming into Jerusalem and all of those pieces, and Ramadan was happening, and the purification of in the Muslim faith, and all these big festivals are coming, and Sikhs and Buddhists and everybody is all about celebration at this time of year. And then there's also all the pagan festivals. So it's been big. And before we start, we are purifying. And so this week has been a week of purification. So the celebration we all shared last Sunday. And then being here in your presence in this beautiful place in New Jersey, I've seen many of you in many moments, and I have been struck by how many of them have been rites of purification, how many of them have lifted us as a community into a place of oneness by the end of the experience, whatever it was. We've had some challenges, we've had some growth, we've had some upliftment, we've had some fear, we've had some doubt, we've had some worry. Much of it actually centered around Kathy Milano's beautiful, generous offering of Soul Sanctuary, which is where Reverend Paul and I are this morning delivering this service with you. So I wanted to share some just beautiful, amazing experiences of being with you this week, and the gratitude and the depth of what I've experienced all the way through. I've touched the women of this church in one group, and I've touched the practitioners, and I've touched the ministers, and I've touched each part of the ministerial team. And there's been so much listening inside me, and so much excitement and building of dreams going on, which is just the ultimate joy. So we've started in that way. And so we did get to have some fun, and we did get to percolate a lot of things. And one of the things we've been talking about is, we do go through a bit of darkness in our purification, because we come face to face with the things I do that might not be 100% loving or 100% holy in my experience when I'm getting started, because that's what purification is for. So in the ancient days, everyone went into the big town, the big city, right? And did all their rites. Well, we came in here and did all our rites, and many of you have done them at home this week. So from that place, I want to tell you that there has been lots illuminated, and many, many pieces of people's journeys and opportunities for growth and love to grow this week. And one of the things I wanted to share with you that really struck me was that as we approach today, we have a choice to approach this moment as a specific day with a specific thing that we specifically get to, or a more generous, open opportunity for every moment of our lives to expand into what we would call, if you were Christian, you would call it the resurrection, or you would call it whatever you would call it, but it's the celebration of freedom. And that is what everything that we are doing here and everything that we've done all week has been guiding us towards is, are we there? Nope. And then let's go again. And are we there yet? Nope. And we'll go again. So in our human bodies, some of us call this ego, some of us call it fear, some of us call it all sorts of different things. But we know we bump up against the edge of that which in us can believe that we are simply love. Over and over, we find ourselves up against that conversation within us. And so as we reflect on that, we reflect on the surest path to finding your way into a situation where you need forgiveness is a judgment. To lose our way out of the holy field of oneness, out of that deep expression of loving, that thing that wraps itself around you and through you and lets you feel the magnanimity of your spirit, the feel your connection with all, feel it's juicy, it's delicious, and we're all like, yes, yes, yes. And 1 second later, we'll give it up for something that triggers us, some wound, some place inside us that is not yet quite ready to step all the way into the loving. And I had this little lesson delivered to me this week by the most beautiful creature in the most beautiful way. So Good Friday morning, I was downstairs in the house I'm in, and I heard this very strange noise upstairs. I thought maybe someone was in the house, and I went upstairs, and there was this beautiful, stunning cardinal inside the window of the house. And what it was doing was banging its beak against this beautiful, clear, clean window. And it was trying to get what it wanted by continuing to do something that wasn't working. And as it sat, and I approached it and I was watching, and I knew I was watching something on a meta level that I was going to really have some interest in developing. But I was also watching this creature suffer. And the suffering in this way was caused by the creature. This beautiful bird, in its misunderstanding of its environment and reality, didn't know there was a window because it looked like a clear space. So again and again, banging his beak and his little head against the window. And it struck me that I, in that moment, knew more than this bird about how to help it survive this situation. And I walked towards this wild cardinal that had gone into the house, and I put my hand out and I said, you can trust me. I'm here for you. I love you. And I want you to be safe. And I want you to stop hurting yourself. And he turned his head around and hopped onto my finger. And I just held my breath because I've never been so surprised in my life. And I got the next window open, and I just allowed him to find his way off my finger and outside. And he landed in the bush outside, and he just sat there and looked at me for a very long time. And I should say we looked at each other. It was one of those stunning, stunning moments where you know you've had an experience of life that is going to speak to you on so many levels. And then I texted one of my beautiful new parishioners, Anne, whose house I'm living in. I said, you're never going to believe what just happened. And she texted me back and she said, isn't it amazing when we really want to be free, how willing we are to trust that what is being offered to us is good for us. And that in that split second, I saw so many moments of my life where I was going to choose, and Am I going to take the support? Am I going to take the love that someone's offering me? Or am I right about continuing to bang my head against this situation to see if I can find the answer this way, my way, only way I know how? I haven't let myself down, so I should know how to do this. I have found in my life that continuing to bang my head against that window really hurts. And it really gets in the way of the expedience of my freedom. It gets in the way of the possibility that I'm going to get to just fly free. Like, oh, I could relax. I could surrender. I could say yes. And the idea that a wild bird would sit onto my finger and let me take it outside was beyond what I could have imagined would have happened. And I realized that in that moment, not only did the bird choose me, but I chose to be trustworthy for this small animal, to give it a gift, to give it freedom. And that's what's happening here so much in our lives. There's ways in which we're offering, there's ways in which we're coming forward, and there are ways in which we're holding back, and the ways in which we're not allowing ourselves to be given to. And so when we think about this whole idea of the process of life and where do we get in the way of our own freedom, where do we say no to what people are giving us that are actually helpful, kind, and loving gestures, where do we stop and say, no, I'm going to stay back here where it feels safe, even though it hurts. It feels safe, even though I'm not 100% free. Someone's offering me something, and when can I truly grasp it? So this is the same thing we talk about when we talk about the universe. The universe has us in this beautiful hold. So if we talk about this moment of passing of Jesus and Mary and all of the disciples and all of society and all that was coming together in those moments, when we think about that, we think about looking at that moment on the cross, and this story, whether you believe it or whether it's allegory, it lives in us. This moment of a man who has been nailed to a cross, who for the first moment decides he is not being cared for and says, how could you forsake me? How could you leave me here? How could this be happening? And then the idea comes in, oh, forgiveness. Oh, forgiveness. This isn't being done to me. This is beyond this experience. Brings in forgiveness. And in the next moment, surrender. I give myself to you. Into thy hands I commend my spirit. Off into consciousness we go. If you look at this little bird and myself and this interaction we're having this morning, it's very similar. I'm going to keep banging my head against this window, saying that somehow I have been forsaken. I have been left in this house alone as a little bird and I can't get out. And yet here is the expanse of life saying to me, trust me, I will help you. I will get you through this. I can. And so I ask each of you, as we're in these purification rituals this week, I notice myself over and over asking this question, what am I being given as a gift in this moment? Because as we know, they don't always look like gifts. I'm sure being nailed to a cross, to be honest, did not actually look like a gift in that moment to Jesus. I'm sure that was uncomfortable. Never mind to his love, Mary Magdalene, never mind to the love that they were trying to bring onto the planet. How could this possibly be the way this is supposed to be going? But indeed, it was the way it was going. And so in these moments, I, going through all this purification this week, was once again delivered this morning another opportunity. And my opportunity this time was to see the gift I was being given, to forgive, and to allow myself to be lifted up. And so what I encountered was someone who had a little trigger going on. And so they had a little fear reaction and they came into my space really strongly with sort of a statement about something about who I am and what I stand for. And I noticed that the very first thing I did was react in fear. I was like, because I was expecting this to be a lovely encounter. It wasn't. So my first reaction, oh no, the same way have I been nailed to a cross? Has someone decided what I am, who I am, and what I think, and it's bad and wrong, and going to do that to me? And then in the very next second, it was, oh, it is so, I could forgive them. Oh yeah, I could forgive them for what they're doing. I could do that. And then it struck me that even more deeply than that, it was the forgiving of myself for the fear that shot to the surface. Now, I don't mean forgiving in a sense like I'm bad and wrong for having fear show up. I mean for giving up, for letting go of my reaction to the reaction, which creates the reaction. And today we find ourselves at war. Because in my tiny, small space, in this tiny little space, in this beautiful town in New Jersey that I'm in, I could have started a war. I could have, because if I saw that it was in me to forgive them, and then didn't realize that it was in me to forgive the fear that was incited in me, then I would be about them. And all week, we have been sorting within ourselves the purification of the realization that we are the center of the experience of loving. That it is not outside us what gets created. We are the creation. We are the holiness. We are the love. We are the light. We are it. It doesn't start somewhere else. It starts here. We source ourselves from love and we drop that down into us. So if I am experiencing anything but love, I have something to let go of. And so as we imagine, since we're playing with this Easter analogy this morning or this story, depending how it lives in you, first, I've been abandoned. Second, we forgive. Third, I let go. And I place myself in the hands of Spirit and I say, honestly, I do not know better. I do not know what to do. And my goal is freedom. Freedom, freedom. We hear that. When we hear that word, we hear it. Martin Luther King's voice, let freedom ring, let freedom ring. We know that all of us are yearning for this same freedom within us. These are the messages of all of these holidays of purification, and then joy bubbling over and bursting forth is the freedom that we get when we choose love. The surrender to love opens the heavens, if you will let me say those things today. Opens the heavens. It opens the heavens within us. It opens our hearts. It gives us the beauty of life back. And we will still bargain with it now and then. We will still play the game. But now we know we are in the driver's seat because there is a universe of love that is with us, that stands with us, that is one with us, and that will give us freedom, joy, wings to fly, and roots onto this earth. On this planet, we live from the expansive nature of love. We live in the total freedom of the wings that fly, and we ground this experience on earth. We live in the world, but not of the world. We have the opportunity for resurrection in every single moment of our lives. Any moment we have not chosen love, allow yourself to breathe and imagine. I am choosing this. I am choosing. In New Thought, we talk about freedom from fear, freedom from ego, freedom. It's freedom from the part of us that thinks we're still playing a survival game. We are not. We are playing the game of love in a universe of love. And when that coherence is available and alive within us, we are the light of the world. Jesus said in his words, greater works will you do than even I have done, only to let us know that it is not Jesus himself in the historic man. It is the consciousness of the Christ consciousness, the Buddha consciousness, the love consciousness, whatever word we want to give to it, that vibrates within you to such a high degree that you become the life of love. You become the forgiveness. You become the walking love. You teach with every step you take. This is not a far off lesson that you need to wait until you die to understand. Every time we go through the process of being triggered, of having an emotional reaction, of being frightened, scared, hurt, wounded, damaged, worried, doubtful of love, we get to go back and strengthen. And we know the way of neuroscience now that we strengthen the pathways in our brain by choosing them. Look, I did that thing and I did that and I chose to be a little judgy right there. And I chose this and I chose that. And now I'm choosing differently. And we settle into our brain by choosing. I let go of this experience right now. I take my attention off the other person. I give up blaming. I am the source. Let me say that again. I am sourced in the universe. I am choosing the source of love to source my life every day, every moment. So if you find yourself in a conversation where you might not be holding yourself to the highest standard, just remember every moment is a choice. You may decide to carry on. You may decide to pull yourself back. You may be having this conversation within, and you may be having it with another human. But if our goal is truly to love, to be the love, to be the answer to that love, and to know that love exists for all of us, it is not something small. It is the biggest, most important factor in the universe. And as we've talked before, when something is happening, if we are looking with fear, we use the guidance of this same teacher, Jesus, in the consciousness that came through him as the Christ consciousness, and we turn the other cheek. We look with love. We release the fear. We breathe deeply. We call on all of our brothers and sisters, our friends, our uncles and aunts and dogs and cats and trees and rocks and all of it, to remind us that we are not alone, that there is a massive love that is the one power that surrounds us. And that is the lesson of today, is to resurrect yourself, re-free yourself in every moment that you bondage yourself to anything, and live in the joy and love, the passion, the beauty. Be life. Jesus was like, be life, be love, hang out with this kind of women, men, friends, be who you are, enjoy yourself, live the truth of who you are, enjoy in love, and be the power of love on this planet. All is healed in our consciousness each day. Bless everything. See the gift that it is for you to heal yourself, resurrect, and come home to love, peace, joy, through forgiveness, through letting go, through allowing yourself to be filled up. And so we take this moment right now and we allow ourselves to just breathe deeply into this powerful, loving, and blustery experience of what we call God, infinite intelligence, passion, Christ consciousness, God, peace. We call it all these names because it is all these names. The multifacets are unimaginable to us. We won't know it till we touch it. And when we touch it, we know it. It's touching the hem of the garment. We are filled with love. And in this moment, we recognize that we are that love. It is up to us to live this love, to find the love, the joy, the compassion, the heart, the soul, the genius, the power, the strength, the joy that lives within us, that lives as us, that surrounds us and holds us in this place. And that from this place, our gratitude is so deep and so wide, we are abundantly held in a beautiful, holy, and abundant universe. You are holy, and this is the sacred moment you've been waiting for. And we release this and let it go. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Happy Easter.